The listing is a 2019 Corolla, 61,000 miles, $11,400. Silver, one owner, photographed in a driveway that isn't yours. You have the tab open at 11:40 at night. You've had it open for 9 days. You know the trim, you know the Carfax. You know the seller drops the price $200 every Friday, and you've watched it fall from $12,000 to here, watched it the way you'd watch a fever. You don't buy it. You read the thread again instead, the one with 4,000 upvotes, the one that says a crash is coming in 2027, that car prices are about to fall off a cliff, that anyone buying now is buying the top. You read it the way you read the listing, looking for the number that tells you what to do. Your thumb hovers over the contact button. You set the phone face down on the counter. You leave it there. This is the part nobody tells you. Not buying is also buying. The empty space where a car would be, that's a purchase too. You're paying for it in a currency you can't see yet, the shift. You stop asking what you need. You start asking what the market will do. You don't need a forecast to get to work. You need a car that starts. But the forecast is easier to hold than the decision, so you hold the forecast. You call it patience. You call it discipline. You tell yourself you're being smart, and the word sits there doing nothing, while the 2009 in your driveway ticks as it cools. Waiting is a position. You just took it. You didn't read the terms. You can time an investment. You cannot time a need. The receipts live in the glove box. You don't file them. You just push them in on top of the registration and the napkins and the owner's manual nobody has opened since 2009. The alternator went first. $410, plus the labor, plus the morning you spent in a waiting room with a vending machine that took your dollar and gave back nothing. Then a brake line in March. Then a tow off Cleveland Avenue in the rain. $214, paid on a card, the driver chewing gum and not looking at you while the meter on your patience ran. You added up once at a red light on the back of a receipt. $1,847. 8 months. The number is uglier written down than it was as a feeling. Gerald sees you do it. He's in the passenger seat. Olive brown button-up, thin rectangular glasses he pushes up with one knuckle. He bought his car 4 years ago. Used. Paid cash. Drives it like he forgot it cost anything. He takes the receipt. He turns it over. He writes 2 numbers and a minus sign between them. What you've spent waiting, against the gap you're waiting for the price to close. He slides it back across the console. He doesn't say it out loud. He never does. The gap is smaller than the tally. You look at it the way you looked at the listing. 9 days of looking and you missed the math that was sitting in your own glove box. Waiting is a position. You're funding it with an alternator and a brake line and a tow in the rain. You put the receipt back. You don't push it down this time. You leave it on top, face up where you'll see it. The cost of waiting is never zero. It's only unbilled. Route 33, 6:50 in the morning, and the 2009 dies in the merge lane. Not a stall, a death. The dash lights go orange and then nothing, and you coast onto the shoulder with both hands tight on a wheel that no longer has power behind it. Cars pass. Nobody slows. You sit in the noise of them for 11 minutes before you can make your hands let go. Brianna texts while you wait for the tow. She doesn't know where you are. She sends an interior shot, a new sedan, stitched seats, a screen the size of a dinner plate. Obsessed with this, she writes. Then, 4 seconds later, a link. The crash thread. The 2027 one, reposted. 4,000 upvotes become 40,000. See, you were right to wait. Warm-toned top in her profile photo. Phone always somewhere in her hand. She sends the temptation and the permission to resist it in the same breath, and neither one helps you off the shoulder. By noon, you're at a dealership you didn't plan to enter. The salesman has a tablet. The number on it is $639 a month. New. 72 months. He says it's slow, like it's small. You almost sign. Your pen is uncapped. Your hand is on the line. Everything in the last 8 months. The alternator, the tow, the receipt face up in the glove box. Pushes the pen down toward the paper. You stop. You cap the pen. A new car at $639 isn't waiting for the crash. It isn't the sensible used buy either. It's panic wearing the costume of a decision. The shift. You stop waiting for the market to decide. You start deciding. Waiting is a position. So is signing for $639 a month because your hands shook on Route 33 at 6:50 in the morning. The thread has a date on it, 2027. It does not have your name on it. It does not know your driveway, your hours, your card with the $214 tow already on it. A forecast is a wish with a date attached. Being right about a crash and being ready for one are different accounts. 2027 arrives. It arrives the way the thread promised and nothing like it. The headlines say downturn. They say correction. They say the word everyone circled. You read them on your phone in a break room with the lights half off. The market falls. Your hours fall with it. They cut you from 40 to 31, and the difference shows up not as a number on a check, but as a math you run at the grocery line, putting the second thing back. You go looking for the crash in the place it was supposed to land. Used car prices. The 2019 Corolla you watched at $11,400. Its cousins are listed at $10,900 now. 11 months of waiting. The price fell $500. The thread set a cliff. This is a curb. Then you pull the financing. A $9,000 loan at the rate they'll give you now runs 2.4 points higher than the rate you'd have signed the year you first opened the tab. Your hours are down. Your score slipped when the card with the tow on it sat unpaid. The car got $500 cheaper, and the money to buy it got more expensive than that. The shift. You stop measuring the crash by the headline. You start measuring it by your driveway. Gerald drives past you in the lot. Same car. 4 years became 5. Paid off the whole time, idling at the light while you do arithmetic. He doesn't wave. He doesn't need to. The car waves for him. It just keeps running. You were right. That's the part that sits wrong. The crash came exactly as predicted, on schedule, and being right paid you nothing. You weren't liquid at the bottom. You were just early, and then you were just broke, and the two felt identical from inside the break room. The bottom is only a discount if you can reach it. The listing is a 2019 Corolla, 94,000 miles now, $9,200. Different driveway, same silver. You have the tab open at 11:40 at night, the way you did the first time, except the first time was a year and a fork in the road ago. You know this number is lower for the wrong reasons. Not because the market corrected the way the thread swore it would, because the car is older, because 33,000 more miles ran under it while you held your position. The $11,400 became $9,200, and almost none of the drop was the crash you waited for. Most of it was just time, doing to this car what it did to the one in your driveway. You buy it. $9,200, financed at the higher rate, with the cut hours and the slipped score baked into the monthly. You don't feel what you thought you'd feel. You sit in the lot afterward with the keys in your hand and the engine running, and the thing you reach for isn't relief. It's the receipt math. $1,847 in repairs. 11 months. A gap that closed by $2,200 and cost you more than that to wait out. Waiting is a position. You held it for a year and it charged you rent the entire time. The thread was right about the date. It was never going to be right about you. A position you can't exit on time isn't a strategy. It's a hope.